What is up, everybody? Boxing fans, Fight Hype family. Your man Sean Zattel here, holding it down for a little more leisurely live today. We got Floyd Mayweather taking on Aaron Chalmers. Just kidding, Aaron Chalmers, but Floyd taking on Mario Chalmers today in an exhibition. And right now we got Jahan Ingram, who made waves in a sparring session with Rolly Romero that went viral. And Jahan is fighting right now here overseas in a pretty empty O2, but we know Floyd Mayweather doesn't really worry about that because the money's guaranteed. But it is an empty arena. But Jahan Ingram, these fights are exhibition bouts. But Antonio Zepeda, who just fought in the heavyweight bout, didn't treat it like an exhibition bout. He actually stopped his opponent in the third round with a body shot. But it doesn't go down on Zepeda's record. And neither will this Jahan Ingram fight against Declan Kenna from Ireland. Lots of jawing back and forth. And Ingram lands that right hand over the top after Declan Kenna jawing back and forth with Jahan. Just 2-minute rounds for 3 rounds here. So nice lead left hook there by Jahan Ingram. That was the shot he did catch Rolly Romero with in between Rolly's punches with Jahan along the ropes. And he led with it there. Jab to the body by Jahan Ingram. Jahan talking to Kenna in there. Apparently these guys have maybe built up a little bit of bad blood this week. But Jahan Ingram, 3-0, 3 knockouts at lightweight. Fights between lightweight and 140 pounds. Actually, a young man that I interviewed over a year ago after he was sparring with Floyd Mayweather and held his own good enough with Floyd Mayweather to get some opportunities here fighting on some of his cards now. And he's in control of round 1. He's the more athletic, rangy fighter. Showing some good skills here that at 22 years old, when he comes back to the States and fights in real professional fights, he could be a solid prospect at lightweight, which is definitely probably the most talent laden division, 135 around there in terms of just the depth of talent. But what's up, Aaron Jimenez? What's up, Dane Sampson? Good to see you, Dane. Good jab to the body again by Jahan Ingram. And that'll do it for round 1. Again, these fights don't. They're not going to count on the box rec, but Jahan Ingram in control of this fight after that first round. Timothy Fowler saying Floyd versus Pacquiao too. Let's talk about it. I mean, I guess enough money keeps getting thrown their way. Anything is possible, but Floyd Mayweather's always made it pretty clear he has no intentions of ever facing Pacquiao again. But money talks. But I would lean towards Timothy Fuller. That never happening. 3 Pumps. Good to see 3 Pumps in the chat. Das Diggity. Good to see you, man. He says, what time is this fake fight? Come on. Das Diggity, the main event. The exhibition comes on. There's one more fight after this between 2 women who are on the show, I guess, called The Baddies. I was told it's like a greatest hits of all the dysfunctional reality TV shows like Flavor of Love and all those back in the day on VH1 and MTV. So that's the co-main. I'm not really going to commentate too much on that. But back to Jahan Ingram. Good jab to the body by Jahan Ingram to start. Jahan Ingram got that North Carolina Tar Heel tattoo along his neck, and he keeps talking and jawing with Declan Kenna of Ireland. Kenna taller than Ingram, but and keeping it on the outside, but not getting anything done offensively. Falling short with his jab here. Measuring with his jab, and now Ingram steps in with his jab, and he falls short too. Now he jabs to that body, and that jab to the body lands for Jahan Ingram. Ingram fighting in the shoulder roll, Mayweather gym influence showing up there. A lot of these guys that show up at the Mayweather gym are kids and young men that, looked up to him. And then they try to take that style and keep doing it with, mixed results. Coming out of the Mayweather gym, but sometimes guys like Badu Jack had the most success finding his own identity instead of trying to fight like some Mayweather clone training out of that gym. Jahan Ingram, halfway through this second round, drops that left hand near his waist, shoots a right uppercut, but falls just short with it. Declan Kenna not trying to engage, playing keep away, eats a jab to the body there again by Ingram. Now he's in the corner, and Ingram lets go of a combination in the ropes and finishes up with 2 left hooks to the body after letting go of a combination up top. Kenna getting his hands up to block that combination, so Ingram finished with 2 to the body. Now a right hand tries to split the guard with Kenna along the ropes. Kenna not trying to engage, not trying to exchange at all with Ingram, and Ingram smiling at him. Nice jab to the body by Ingram, and good sweeping right hand to the body, and Ingram goes, ooh, after doing that, Ingram beginning to cut off the ring better. 1-2 up top, gets blocked, but he digs that left hook to the body again. And honestly, it's a 3-round exhibition. Straight right hand to the body by Ingram. Ingram showing some good body work in this fight. And honestly, Ingram looking like a legitimate prospect at 22 years old. He's fighting a kind, what you could maybe call, a nonsense exhibition, a 3-rounder with 2-minute rounds. But we saw in the Rolly Romero viral clip that he has some talent, and I'm seeing that talent here in this exhibition. Some accurate body shots placed by him here in this round. Nothing coming back his way to really test him defensively or nothing. Kenna is kind of fighting scared, for lack of, more nuanced way of putting it. But Ingram kind of looks like a legit prospect. Raphael32 says, "What's up, Sean? Good to see you, man." Jed D says, "As boxing purists, we all watch all the boxing, so right, that's why we're here." My man, I can't read the name, but I see we got someone from Russia in the house. Shout out to Russia. Good to have you in here, my man. Wish I could pronounce, but it's in a Russian language. It's in Russian, so I can't read that. But Dane Sampson said, "Yo, Sean, in 2007 to 2014, did I ever favor anyone to beat Mayweather?" Probably Paul Williams at 47 or 54. I think Paul Williams could have beaten Floyd around that time. And I think in 2008, before Margarito got to Cotto, it would have been an even more competitive fight than when they wound up fighting in 2012. Cotto, I think, still would have fell just a little short, but I think that fight would have been hell for Floyd in 2008 when Cotto when he was undefeated and before Margarito took his pound of flesh. But the only guy I probably would have picked him to beat around that time, 07 to 2014, was probably Paul Williams. Good. So now Ingram getting Kenna into the ropes there and banging away with the left hook to the body and finishes with a sharp straight right hand up top. Now Ingram picking his hands up to showing that he's not just going to fight in the shoulder roll, and you like to see that. Finishes up with an uppercut after 2 well-placed body shots and then trying to split the guard of Kenna with a right uppercut. Kenna must have felt the power of Jahan Ingram early. Oh, good combination with Kenna in the ropes in the corner again. Ingram shooting off 1-2s to the body, and Kenna keeps smiling and making faces and clowning with Jahan Ingram, but now Kenna finally throws a straight right hand back, but he is put into the corner again, and Ingram just measuring with the lead hand and picking his shots to the body off the measuring. Ingram, kind of mean in there, wants more engagement from Kenna, who's just trying to survive and see the final bell. Kenna keeps talking and jawing, but has done very little fighting. And Ingram, as far as the eye test goes, again, showing that he looks like he could be, a legit prospect at 22 years old at lightweight. Nice combination again by Ingram with about 15 seconds left as Kenna was into the corner there. Ingram double jab, sweeps the right hand, finishes with like a left uppercut. Good combination punching by Jahan Ingram whenever he's pinned Kenna in the corners here. And good body work, and he finishes with a double left hook. Left hook up top, left hook to the body. Throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations, and that'll do it for that 3-rounder. Jahan Ingram looks like a prospect at 22 years old. Floyd Mayweather and that gym look like they got a prospect. I'm not gonna. He doesn't jump off the page like a prospect, quite like Keyshawn Davis at lightweight or some of those other guys with that Olympic pedigree. But he is a legit prospect at 3-0 with 3 knockouts at lightweight, 22 years old. So, yeah, we'll get through this, and next fight I guess is the 2 girls from the show Baddies fighting. So I won't really round by round that too much, and we'll kind of buy some time until we get to the Mayweather fight, and I can answer some questions. I might fire up Undisputed and play it and just talk with you guys, unless you really want to know the outcome of the fight between the 2 baddies. But let's see. Eric Pena said Paul Williams was just very long, but Floyd most likely would have still outsmarted him if Sergio caught him like that. Eric Pena, but Floyd can't manifest the kind of power that Martinez at 160, a full 160 pounder. Or was that first fight at 54 or was the second? But Martinez eventually the full-fledged middleweight champion, sitting down, bulked up on that southpaw left hand. A guy who was a good enough, had enough physicality at 160 pounds to become the champ and beat big middleweights like Chavez and Pavlik. It's different type of fighters. Floyd doesn't have that kind of one-punch shot to end the fight like Sergio Martinez did. And in that first fight, even though a lot of people thought Martinez won, I thought Williams might have deserved it after all because he was so busy. And the Williams that fought Antonio Margarito was just a problem. He was fast. He had great feet and legs. He could move. He could punch off the movement. He was a great combination puncher. He had a long, snapping southpaw jab at 6'2". Paul Williams at 147 especially was a problem. At 154 was a problem. At 160, fighting more physically strong guys, his height wasn't as big of an advantage as it was at 47 and 54. But Jahan Ingram doing a little interview now ringside. He dominated that fight. But, back to Floyd and Paul Williams, since it is a Floyd Mayweather stream, I got a great story to share about Floyd in 2006, where I was 14 at the time, about to turn 15. And I had already been to some big fights here in Vegas. I already loved boxing for a few years. And I had taken a few pictures with Floyd at the fights already. And at that time, he was so courteous to fans with the pictures and the autographs. Now forget it. It's harder to these days. But at that time, Pretty Boy Floyd, if you saw him out and about at the fights or at Vegas, you could go up to him and he was accessible. So we're at the Orleans Hotel out here in Vegas, and I walk by a bar before me and my boys are going to go up to the arcade, and I see Floyd there. And Floyd's getting ready to watch the Paul Williams Sharmba Mitchell fight on Boxing After Dark. This was in 2006, and Floyd had just fought Sharmba Mitchell, and so I was planning on seeing Paul Williams fight later that night. Watch the replay on Boxing After Dark. So I tell my boys up at the arcade, yo, Floyd's here. Floyd's at the hotel. And one of them is a big boxing fan. I go, do you want to get a picture with him? And he goes, nah, we shouldn't bother him. You don't think he'd want to take a picture, do you? I go, nah, he will. Watch, I bet you. So we take down the escalator, and we go to Floyd, and I say, Floyd, my boy wants a picture. Could he get one? He says, hold on, wait right here. As he watches, with laser focus up on the monitors at the bar. And what he's watching is Paul Williams versus Sharmba Mitchell. And he's watching that fight, and he tells us to wait. And the minute the round's over, he calls us over to his little booth, and my boy takes a picture with him, and Floyd was cool. And then we leave. The next day, I go on to BoxingTalk.com, which is sort of like an ancestor of FightHype. And I go on to BoxingTalk.com, and the fans ask Floyd Mayweather, what do you think about fighting Paul Williams? And Floyd responds, never seen him fight before. Basically, never heard of him, never seen him fight before. Great story about the art of war. Floyd knew what kind of danger and he knew all too well what kind of danger and threat he had just seen. And that high risk, that 6'2" tall risk with a very low reward. A guy who was fighting on Boxing After Dark and, did the art of war tactics, says never heard of him, never seen him fight before. And I laughed to myself because I just saw him watching that very fight the night before at the Orleans. And not just watching it intensely with hawk eyes. So that to me is a great story about Floyd. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now they're in the dressing rooms, taping up the two women fighting in this co-main event. And I'm not really familiar with the show baddies or these two female people in the entertainment industry. So we'll just talk some boxing. Saluto di Roma, Alberto Casari. Hey, ciao, Cendal. A piacere mio for you being in the chat. Good. Ciao, brother. Thank you for being in here. Sono di Brooklyn. Forgot. I knew a little Italian. I did pass some classes in Italian back in college, but I forgot how to say grandfather. I know how to say godfather, padrino, but and then JD saying, fun fact, Paul Williams' very next fight was on the Mayweather-Baldomir undercard. Indeed it was. Grazie mille. Yes, Alberto. Grazie. Let's see. Let me see. Fury beats them all, says Dildier, drug dealer. Let's see. People forget Carlos Quintana schooled Paul, says JD. You are correct, he did. But then Paul Williams knocked him out in the first round in the rematch. And, no excuses made. He lost, but knocked him out in the first round of the rematch. And maybe Paul took him a little lightly there. Paul wouldn't have took Floyd Mayweather lightly, every man's human. And Floyd, even though he's TBE and he's the best of his era, no question, Paul Williams would have been a very, very tough fight for him at 147, 154. Javier G, salute Sean from the Bay Area. Salute, Javier. Good to see you again, my brother. Go Niners all day. We got the 49er sweater on. Jez says, was this the guy from Road Trip? Which one, Jez? There was Tom Green in that movie, and then there was 4 other guys whose names I can't remember. But I do remember watching Road Trip when it came out, when I shouldn't have been watching it at 9 years old. D Pistons 149. Oh, we must have Michigan in the house checking in on hometown Floyd Mayweather. When does Floyd fight? D Pistons 149. Right now it's co-main event time between 2 reality show stars from the show called Baddies, I guess, here on the Zeus Network. Not familiar, to say the least. So, we're killing a little time talking boxing until we get to Floyd's fight with Chalmers. I hope you stick around, D Pistons. We got Son Goku in the chat saying, y'all know what they say, a bigger guy with equal skill will win every time in most situations. That's Fury. He may beat Usyk. He's too big. I totally agree with you, Son Goku. I'm personally a bigger Vegeta fan than Goku, but I love Goku too. But anyways, I agree. I just think that fight's going to be a great big guy beats a great smaller guy. That's what I think Fury and Usyk's going to come down to. Totally agree with you. Passive Income all day says, Paul Williams, are you nuts? Easy work for Floyd. Paul got knocked out face down. Come on, man. Stop it. Okay, Passive Income. I mean, a guy, Marcos Maidana got dropped by body shots by Amir Khan and still gave Floyd a very tough fight. Jose Luis Castillo had 4 L's by the time he fought Floyd. Gave him 2 very competitive, tough fights. Sergio Martinez with the one-punch power that he had as a middleweight, a bulked-up middleweight isn't the kind of one-punch power Floyd has. So Floyd Mayweather isn't sending Paul Williams back in the day face first on the canvas. That's going the distance if Floyd's going to win. And Paul Williams is going to throw 70, 80, 90 punches around. He had a great southpaw. I mean, this is all hypothetical. It never happened. Someone asked earlier in the chat, from 2007 to 2014, would I have favored anyone to beat Floyd? And really the only guy I think that would have got it done around that time would have been Paul Williams. I think Cotto in 2008, before Margarito got to him, would have gave him a hell of a fight. It would have been a great fight. I still think Floyd would have came out on top of that. But Floyd, since we're on the, subject of the man of the hour, Floyd to me is definitely, one of the greatest pound for pound. And when you talk about pound for pound, you got to remember that Floyd started at 130 pounds at 5'8". So there are some guys in hypotheticals. I mentioned Paul Williams, but Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, even that I would pick to beat Floyd at 147, 154 in large part. Not because they're more skilled than Floyd, but because they approach the skill level and they're much physically bigger men than he was. Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns were able to knock out super middleweights. Guys at all the way up at 168 pounds. Floyd, the last time he was a puncher was 140 pounds, around the Gotti days. Once he got to 47 and 54, outside of the Victor Ortiz fight and Ricky Hatton, and Hatton was a 140-pounder fighting at 47, like Floyd. They were really 2 140-pounders fighting at 47. Floyd is one of the best. He's the cream of the crop of the pound for pounds, in boxing history, going all the way back to the Jack Johnson days. But there are some guys I'd have picked against him hypothetically, and a big reason why is he started at 130, and some of these guys, Leonard and Hearns, they were able to knock out super middleweights. Ray Robinson fought at welterweight like Floyd, but wound up knocking out a ton of middleweights. So these were bigger men than him, guys that were 5'10", 5'11", 6'1", 6'2", so That's how I've looked at Floyd. But when you match, if we're really gonna match Floyd against men his own size, from 130 to 140, it's a very slim list of guys that are even 50-50 with him. The first guy that comes to mind in those weights, 130 to 140, would have been Pryor or Roberto Duran. Those are two guys that could have very well have beaten Floyd at lightweight, 140 pounds, or he would have beat them. Those would have been real toss-up fights. Hector Camacho at 130, but I would have favored Floyd. Some names is Oscar De La Hoya at 140 against Floyd would have been a hell of an amazing fight. Oscar at 140 was incredible when he beat Chavez in 96. He didn't stick around 140 long, neither did Floyd, but they were both great at 140. TJ saying the fight against Ricky Hatton was at 140, not 147. No, the fight was at 147 for Floyd's WBC welterweight belt. They fought at welterweight. Floyd had the WBC welterweight belt. He won from Baldomir. Then he moved up and won the WBC against Oscar. Then he dropped back down to 47. Hatton had to come up, and Hatton had already made the move up for one fight against Luis Collazo, where he won the WBA belt. Hatton actually did become a world champion at 47. He beat Luis Collazo. Then he dropped back down to 40, where he felt comfortable. He knocked out an old Jose Luis Castillo, pieced up Juan Urango, and then he had to move back up to 47 for the Floyd fight. But those were really two 140-pounders fighting at 47. True319 says nobody beats Ray Robinson in his prime. And King W Boxing says nobody beats Robinson at 147. I tend to agree with you guys, and people would say that's nostalgia talking. That's unrealistic of you. Athletes in basketball, for example, have gotten faster, jump higher, shoot the three better. So that's across the board in sports. But boxing's a little different. They don't fight 15 rounds like they used to, and things like that. Boxing's a little different in that regard. And I think Ray Robinson at 5'11" was such a big welterweight, and his punching power and hand speed hold up so well to today. He was such a vicious puncher with both hands and that hand speed. Now, Ray could get beat hit. He wasn't the best defensively. But I'm with you guys. I still think Sugar Ray is the GOAT, And he has 19 losses. Yeah, but he was 100 and something and one in his prime. At welterweight, he never lost, I believe. Maybe the first LaMotta fight was in between welterweight and middleweight, which would technically make it a middleweight fight. But he in his prime, he was 100 something and one, and the one was to LaMotta, who he beat 5 times. So when we're talking about a prime Sugar Ray Robinson, we're not talking about 19 losses. Just like if we're talking about a prime Muhammad Ali, we're not talking about the guy who got beat up by Trevor Berbick and Larry Holmes. Let me see here. Saviochi Siasi saying totally agree with Floyd not being a puncher after 140. Yeah, and I think 140 Floyd was the best. It's just he really only had the Gotti fight, Henry Brucelis, Chop Corley, but we didn't get to see him stay there long. But I think Floyd could have wound up being the GOAT at 140. He was so special in that Gotti fight. And Ray D says, I think Floyd was still a puncher because nobody walked through the punches. Yeah, he was no Paulie Malignaggi at welterweight and super welterweight, especially in the later years at super welterweight against Canelo. He was light in the ass when he fought Oscar at super welterweight, but fully grown at that weight 6 years later against Canelo. He definitely, that right hand looks like it hurts. He definitely had enough pop to keep these guys respectful, but not what I would call a puncher at 147, 154. Let me see here. Siviachi Siasi said, ironically, Floyd seemed to punch hardest at 147 in his first fight against Sharmba Mitchell. After that fight, I'm guessing hand problems started to get really bad. Yeah, I remember that Sharmba Mitchell fight. That was a letdown fight at the time because Gotti was such a brilliant performance that you wanted him to follow it up with a big fight. And then he did eventually with Judah. But he was throwing the right hand like a motherfucker in that fight. I remember he sat Sharmba down with a straight right hand to the solar plexus, and he was throwing the right hand like a motherfucker that night. You're right. HN said, are you doing one for Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury tomorrow? Definitely doing one for that fight tomorrow. and the intrigue is there. It's going to be a competitive fight, I think, and I do favor Jake Paul. Jake Paul, he is a tough and tenacious kid, young man, and again, I don't love the Kim Kardashian Paris Hilton element of celebrity in our culture and how it's increased since the new millennium around that time. But can't hate the player, hate the game. But Jake Paul is he's physically strong, country strong from Ohio, physically strong guy, resourceful. And I say resourceful because he doesn't do things that are pretty to the eye, mechanics-wise always, but he makes it work for him. I saw Sinisa Estrada on Twitter. She tweeted something saying, I think his herky-jerky movements can work for him and he can counter off of them. And that was very savvy by the world champion Estrada to say that. I agree. It's not pretty, but he makes it work. And then he's got a strong right hand. So he's a tough kid because he's taken some shots against Tyron Woodley in that first fight, hit him with some right hands. Anderson Silva pieced him up in a couple of rounds. And those are old MMA guys, but he took some shots. And I haven't even seen Tommy Fury really take shots. I don't see Tommy Fury really commit to his punches. In his last fight, he still fought like a guy with nerves who's afraid, a little tense and timid of getting hit. And Tommy Fury still has some amateur tendencies. He relies on his legs and kind of just gets in and out of range to make guys miss. But he doesn't really pick his hands up in the right way to block punches all the time. He has faster hands and faster feet than Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. He has a better jab than Jake Paul. Jake Paul doesn't really have a jab. Jake Paul doesn't really have a left hook. But he does a number of resourceful things, and then the right hand finds its home at some point. And Tommy Fury fights with his hands down a lot, and he pulls straight back sometimes, and that could be a problem with Jake Paul's right hand. And Tommy Fury also gets a little tired after 4 rounds, and these are against guys that aren't trying to really win. And Jake Paul, like him or not, he is a confident guy who brings a certain level of tenacity, and he picked Tommy Fury out as an easy mark. I favor Jake to win that fight, and I will be calling it tomorrow. A lot of people in boxing will be happy if Tommy wins, but I gotta roll with Jake as the favorite tomorrow. What are you guys thinking? I hope Major Key Boxing says, I hope they give Joey Spencer more opportunities. He's a gritty lumberjack type of fighter. Major Key, Joey's getting a big opportunity fighting Jesus Ramos on the co-main event of Caleb Plant and David Benavidez. That's a huge fight for him. I think Jesus Ramos, he's fighting, if I'm right, he's fighting the younger Ramos, not Abel Ramos, but Jesus Ramos, who's undefeated. Jesus Ramos is going to be the favorite that night. He's considered a bigger puncher and the better prospect against Joey. I love Joey. He is a great kid, and he's always been a good talent, but this is a big step up for him, and he'll be the underdog in this fight. And that's actually a really good fight that's going to be taking place. That's actually a good card. Rayo Valenzuela against Chris Colbert as well on that card. So Cody Crowley is fighting, I think, the other Ramos, Abel Ramos. So it's a good card. Let's see what's up. Wiley on 24 said David is going to stop Plant in the third. I think David can stop Plant, but I don't see him happening early. I think the third round, when Plant is still fresh, is when it's going to be the toughest for David. Sun Goku said a movie will be made out of this, and Floyd is setting it up. One guy will eventually get him in these exhibitions, and I will be here for it. And I love Floyd, but he is a true fighter. Sun Goku, do you mean he's a true fighter in that he can't walk away until someone picks him up off the ground, like Bernard, like Roy? Figuratively speaking, like Ali, like Robinson, like, so many guys. You're saying he won't leave the boxing ring, exhibition or otherwise, until someone puts his lights out? Are you saying that's his fate? Vingum saying Lil B-Hop is overrated. Ryo stops him in the 5th round. We'll see. Colbert, when he's right, has great hand speed. He's very fast. That didn't show up against Hector Luis Garcia. He didn't really show up that night. But we'll see, you know. If his, you know, Ryo has a really leaky defense. Really leaky. He gets hit a lot. So, we'll see. Sean Morrison said, Sean, you are the GOAT at this. I appreciate that, Sean Morrison, and I wonder if you're just telling me that because we share the same name, but thank you, my friend. Son Goku said, yes, exactly my point. Yes, bro, that's what Son Goku's saying. I got you, I hear you. And wouldn't it be awful, in a way, if it winds up being Jake Paul that does that to him? That's almost been like a thing I've had to think about ever since Floyd fought Logan Paul, and Floyd got out of the ring and said, yeah, I'm not doing this no more. But then he turns around and continues to do exhibitions. I think it could wind up ending bad for Floyd if he gets in there with Jake Paul, who's going to look to take his head off and have such a physical size advantage on him. That's where Floyd, you know, who with that great ego he's had, that's what's made him the man he is. But he might need someone around him who cares about him to say, champ, I know they're offering you $100 million out there in Dubai or in America or in England or wherever the fuck they're offering it for you to fight Jake Paul. We're not taking that fight. This kid loves clout. He's hungry for it. He wants to take your head off and put it on and show it to the whole world so he can grow his following. And the powers that be in boxing might be okay with that because you've already made them as much money as you're going to make them, and he can make them more money. So something for Floyd to think of. Now, his great ego will tell him, are you kidding me? I'm Money May. I'll beat the shit out of him. Easy, rob the bank again. But that's where someone that cares about Floyd should tell him, we're not taking that Jake Paul fight. You know, that's just how I feel. You know, Floyd, Millie said Floyd ain't stupid and he'll still piece Jake Paul up. Maybe he will, Millie, but why take the chance? I mean, when little YouTubers like Deji are giving him black eyes now, it's not a good sign, you know. And Floyd in the gym would still beat the shit out of Jake Paul. Probably, but under the bright lights, and I know that's where Floyd, ironically, always says that's where he does his thing, but under the bright lights is where fighters start to show their age more. Some of the old-timers, the old trainers and writers would tell me the great fighters, they could look great in the gym even in their 50s and 60s as old men. It's once they really gotta, you know, really compete that the age will finally start to show up more and more. So we'll see. I just don't want him to even give Jake the satisfaction of potentially pulling that off. You know what I mean? Like, if anyone was going to have the satisfaction of taking Floyd's, it should have been, you know, a great fighter, not Jake. And I know Floyd talked earlier this week about it would have to be an exhibition because the difference in weight. But, you know, even if it didn't go down officially, you know, Floyd ever losing to Jake Paul in an exhibition or otherwise, that would represent something sad to me. It would represent the legitimacy of boxing. Floyd would represent not just himself, but boxing and all the great fighters that he fought and that came before him. And to give it up to with Jake Paul, that would just be a travesty. So I personally hope we never see that fight. And I'm not saying Floyd wouldn't wind up piecing him up in the end, but it only takes one punch once your bones become more, you know, once as a man, you can't, as you get closer to 50 years old, you can't take punches the way you once were able to, and you'd be in there with this big kid trying to take your head off. And we saw Logan Paul buzz Floyd a little bit in the second round, and he's you know, not as polished as Jake is, and you know, but whatever. Steve Wallington said Floyd and Jake won't fight. Weight difference is crazy, and Jake's much more comfortable at his current weight. I hear you, but the weight difference was crazy with Logan Paul, and you know, these guys love money, man. And if they put enough zeros in front of them, it just forces you to take a hard look at getting in the ring. So I don't think the Jake Floyd stuff is gone just yet. I feel like there's going to be people in boxing that feel like they can make a lot of money on putting them together, and they'll continue to make offers that some of them we won't even hear about behind the scenes. That's why I wasn't surprised when Floyd said, yeah, we had talks. We had talks with Jake Paul, and if you hear him, he's keeping the door open by mentioning the exhibition stuff. So, yeah. Let me see. Sean Morrison said Floyd's reflexes are not the same. 100 million would tempt anybody, says, you know, Cedar Noose in boxing. I agree. Yeah, we got Russia in the house. Major Key Boxing saying Xander Zayas legit. Yeah. Xander Bronco Kid asking is Xander Zayas legit? Absolutely legit. I think Puerto Rico's finally got their fighter. You know, they've been waiting on it since Miguel Cotto. Cotto took the torch from Trinidad. So I definitely think Xander Zayas is legit. Now, can he become as great as Cotto in Trinidad? That's a tall order. But I think they got their guy. So let me see here. Is the fight on right now? Asked Slim. No, not yet. We're almost there. Actually, it wasn't the two ladies fighting. It was another fight. And then we're going to have the two ladies fight. And then Floyd Mayweather fight. Liviu Dimitri saying, when is the Floyd fight? Floyd fight should still be in probably 30, 40 minutes. Kyle Hines, is this showing the fight? We're doing it round by round, brother. So, someone asked, Eduardo asked, what do I think of Andy Ruiz and PBC splitting? I don't know what to think. There's a lot of shakeup in the business right now. Derek Chisora issued a statement that there's a new boss in town and all the promoters in boxing are fucked, and and then all of a sudden we see Deontay Wilder show up in Saudi, and Derek Chisora whisks him away to a car as if to introduce him to this ominous boss he was talking about. Ruiz leaves. I don't know. Do Wilder and Ruiz still wind up fighting anyways, but just not on a PBC platform, I don't know. But I don't think Ruiz will become heavyweight champion again, regardless of the platform. I think he's definitely a top 10 heavyweight, definitely a contender, but I don't think he beat Usyk. I don't think he beat Fury. I don't think he beat Wilder. I'm not sure he beat Joe Joyce either. So, I like Andy Ruiz. Still a good puncher, fast hands, skilled heavyweight, a smaller heavyweight in terms of, height, not small in terms of the weight and punching power. But, yeah. So, 3 Pumps says, will we ever see Shakur versus Haney down the road? I say yes. 3 Pumps, yes. I don't think that'll play out too bad like a Spence Crawford, Mayweather Pacquiao situation. I think we will actually see Devin and Shakur fight in their primes, because I think the two of them, since they were teenagers, since they were young men and boys, have had a mutual respect and understanding that they will face each other as competitors one day, and that they both believe they're better than the other, and they both want to beat the other, and they know only one can be, king. But I think from sparring that was on YouTube all the way to now, I think they have a respectful, highly respectful of each other going back to the amateurs. But I think they've always had maybe a spoken or unspoken agreement that we are going to get it on one day. And I'm not ducking you and you're not ducking me. And I think I could beat you and I know you think you could beat me. So I don't think it'll happen in the next 12 months or anything like that. But I do think Haney and Stevenson will fight each other at 140 pounds one day in the next maybe 2 years. Not the next year, but maybe in the next 2 years at 140, we could see Haney and Stevenson. I think we get Haney and Teofimo first. I think Teofimo can very well pull it off against Josh Taylor. I'm going with Teo, and I think if Teo can handle his business against Josh Taylor, I think we're going to get Haney and Teo in maybe by the end of the year, but probably the beginning of next year at 140. Tank versus Haney, who wins? Asked AJ. I got Haney. I'll take the guy. I'll take the boxer over the better puncher there, although Tank can definitely box too. But I think Haney is a big lightweight who's going to be a legit welterweight one day. And with that length behind the jab, I think Haney would win a decision against Tank. What are my thoughts on Usyk and Fury? Asked Bluebee PC. I got Fury. Great big man beats a great smaller man. AJ said Taylor's going to beat Teofimo. Easy work. The Bronco Kid says Teofimo needs a new trainer. Teo, if he doesn't need a new trainer, he needs to bring someone in. He might need to bring Joey Gamache back in I don't know, head down to San Diego and go hook up with Reynoso, who's always extended his arms to him. But Raphael 32 says PBC and Showtime have no money. I see people say that on various channels, social media, but like until we actually would get confirmation of anything from facts, it's speculation. I don't know. So they have enough money to put on Ryan and Tank and Plant and Benavidez. Although I understand part of that is that it's on pay-per-view. It's not really that the networks are on the hook budget-wise the way they are when it's not on a pay-per-view. But Showtime and PBC have enough going on that they're able to make the two biggest fights on the schedule, Plant Benavidez and also Ryan and Tank. So credit where it's due right there. GGG versus Spence, that's never happening. It never should. Two different weight classes. What time is the Mayweather fight? Asked Daniel Estrada. Daniel, fight should be about 20, 25, 30 minutes. Right now, we got the two ladies in the ring, with the headgear. I don't know what I'm watching, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. It's from the show Baddies. Is anyone in the chat familiar with these two women and the show Baddies on the Zeus network? I'm familiar with Flavor of Love seasons 1 and 2 and I Love New York. That's as far as my dysfunctional, awful reality television. And I watched The Surreal Life on VH1 back in the day. And Celebrity Fit Camp. I watched VH1 a lot from 2006 to 2007. So if it was on VH1 at that time, I watched that bullshit. Yeah. Haney versus Prograis. Dr. Rubin, good to see you again, brother. Good to see you, Dr. Rubin. Who do I got in Haney versus Prograis? I mean, Haney hasn't fought at 140 yet, but I got Haney, man. I think Haney is going to be the fighter to beat from 135 to 147 over the next 5 years. That's just, just how I prognosticate it. Stevenson is a little shorter than Haney. I don't think he's going to be effective at welterweight the way Haney will be. I think Stevenson will top out more at 140. Not saying Stevenson and even Davis, too, can't get to titles at 147, but their size is going to limit them in a way it won't limit Haney at 147. So, Slim said Regis easy. I mean, maybe Regis would win right now as a full-fledged, grown 140-pounder who's been there his whole career, and Devin's still at lightweight, but, that's how I see it. What's the names of the female fighters from the show? I don't know, man. If we got my man, the editor, if we got BT, if you're watching, brother, please in the chat let me know who it is. Who is calling me? Shelly Shawn. I don't know who Shelly Shawn is. Do you guys know what Shelly Shawn? So, people don't realize how big Haney is, says Sean Morrison. Yeah, I agree. He's rehydrating nearly 20 pounds these days when he on fight night. Down goes Green. Nope. This is awful. Yeah, this is awful. Natalie Nunn versus Tommy Lee. Okay. Now, originally, the Tommy Lee I was familiar with was Tommy Lee Jones from Men in Black, and Tommy Lee, the dude who used to bang Pamela Anderson on the sex tape and was in the Motley Crue rock band. But now we have Tommy Lee, the ratchet reality TV star, and it is not going good for Tommy Lee right now. She's given up a lot in weight to Natalie Nunn, who, I said I wasn't gonna do a round by round, but then you put boxing in front of me, even if it's this trash, and I wind up, I just do it. Straight left hand lands for Natalie Nunn, and Tommy Lee does really not want any of this smoke in there with Natalie Nunn, who has a better high guard. Oh, measuring is Natalie Nunn behind the southpaw, and she lands the straight left hand after measuring with that lead right hand in the southpaw stance. Natalie Nunn more disciplined out of the high guard. An awful exchange by both fighters, but Natalie Nunn gets the better of it. She is wobbling Tommy Lee around. You gotta wonder if Tommy Lee really wants to fight. She turns her back. Referee Robert Byrd, what are you doing over there, Robert? You refereed so many great fights. You probably are like, what the fuck am I looking at? Tommy Lee, she doesn't look like she wants to be in there at all. And she tries measuring back and switches southpaw. The woman is lost. And she turns her head and gets hit to the back of the head because she turns her head. And Tommy Lee is defenseless, people. Slim says this is pretty garbage. Absolutely it is. This is the ruination of society level entertainment here. And I'm partaking in it. Oh. Natalie Nunn is winning the fight, though. Caleb, have you been using Sean Porter in the Undisputed game? Yeah, I've used him about a dozen times, and he has some of the most lifelike animations, actually. Canelo's got that lifelike right uppercut and left hook animation. Roy Jones has some Roy Jones-like animations. And Sean Porter actually has some of the most lifelike animations in the game in terms of his character kind of looks and fights like Sean Porter. But yeah, Natalie Nunn is better, Sean Morrison. Mail said, where is the fight showing? It is showing on the Zeus Network. Yeah, these girls. Yeah. Who do you think will be the two biggest names super fight in boxing in the next 5 years, says Jay Villa. Good question, Jay. I think Tank and Haney's going to be a really big fight. I think it's going to be a fight that's demanded, and that it's going to be a fight that's demanded for a while, and that's hard to make. I think that's going to be a tough fight to make, and that'll add to the anticipation of it. So I think, Tommy Lee has collapsed to the ground. She's collapsed to the ground. She doesn't want to come out for round 2. She's exhausted and has collapsed to the ground. And that'll do it for Natalie Nunn. Thank God it's over. And I should be ashamed of myself that I called that fight for a round and a half. I think they called it. No, they're gonna try to put Tommy Lee's mouthpiece in and continue this. Please, she does not want to continue. Please let there be some semblance of something here. Sid UK says, when is Floyd's fight starting? It's starting soon. Body Baggin says, why are y'all complaining about an entertainment fight? It's not a boxing card. I don't know, man. It's just this. I'm reacting to it as I see it, and this is my reaction to what I see taking place in front of my eyes. Floyd Mayweather in the dressing room with his UK boxing trunks. Floyd actually wearing the Union Jack tonight on his boxing trunks. And since it's a shit show, they're going to just let this fight continue in round 2. And Tommy Lee comes out with a lead right hook but eats the southpaw jab of Natalie Nunn. Oh, Natalie Nunn it actually throws a right hand in the orthodox stance. She switches, lands a straight right hand again. She is pelting, and that's it. Robert Byrd stops it. You should have stopped it 20 seconds ago when the girl laid flat on her back for 2 minutes. Anyway, fight's over. TKO in round 2 for Natalie Nunn. And Tommy Lee still is walking over and talking like she wants to do something, but the fight is over. And, so is my credibility for commentating that. I had dreams once of covering boxing. I was a young boy, ditching school sometimes to go to weigh-ins. And if 15-year-old Sean could see me now covering Natalie Nunn versus Tommy Lee, he probably wouldn't care. Anyways, on to the Floyd Mayweather fight coming up soon. Floyd Mayweather against Mario Chalmers, the former point guard for the Miami Heat. Of course, we know Mario Chalmers played for Kansas, hit a couple of clutch threes for the Heat in their 2 titles with LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. And tonight, surprisingly, apparently, he'll be fighting an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather. Right, chat? Mario Chalmers? The Bronco Kid says, who wins in the rematch? Shields versus Marshall rematch in America. Shields. Yep. AJ said Sean will cuss you out. You think so, AJ? He might, actually. Yeah, he would. Sorry. Wizard of the Crystal said, don't be mad at yourself for calling that fight. Thank you, Wizard of the Crystal. Thank you. I actually had a comment on one of the lives from one of these kind of fights a couple of months ago where someone commented, Sean, I'm disappointed in you. I expect better from you than the comment. And that actually hurt me a little bit. So I appreciate that, Wizard of the Crystal. Body Baggin said, Nunn did well for her first time boxing. Stop hating. She did better than I did my first time boxing. I got the shit beat out of me in the middle of a little park fighting the homies with boxing gloves on. So there you go, Body Banger. She did do better than my first time boxing. Slim says, Sean Spence versus Crawford. Slim, only in our hypothetical dreams. I think Crawford would have won that fight if it would have happened. But as the time goes by, if that fight still does happen eventually, Crawford, father time waits for nobody. And Crawford's in his, 2010 Kobe Bryant, 1998 Michael Jordan phase where they were still in their prime, but they were at the end of their prime. And that's Crawford right now. He's still Terrence Bud Crawford, but he's at the end of his prime, still in his prime. So it only favors Spence these days, the longer that it goes without the fight happening. And I know some people would argue Spence, from the car accident and everything, that took a pound of flesh out of Spence. But, Spence is still the more youthful guy between the two of them. Would be a great fight stylistically, but I'd favor Crawford, the counterpuncher. Just based off that alone, the counterpuncher. I think the Crawford being a great counterpuncher would have the edge once that fight heats up in the exchanges and both guys are throwing each other's best at each other. But Crawford has been slowing down a little bit. He's been getting hit more and more, especially by right hands. So, that's anybody's fight. But 00 said Crawford, but he getting older. Right, 00, pretty much. You summed it up. And, of course, I like Spence. Maybe one of the, top 5 jab, top 3 body puncher, most consistent body puncher. So fundamentally sound. So, I definitely like Spence, but the counterpunching of Terrence Crawford is a little more dynamic than Spence's fundamentals and workman-like pace and all that. But sometimes fundamentals can beat that stuff as well. So that'd be great. I think Crawford would be behind in that fight, but the fight would change on a dime midway through. It's just how I would see it. We'll see. Once Crawford adjusts. What's the age difference? Says Murd15. Good to see you, Murd. I've seen you back in the chats a few times. The age difference, I think, is 3 years. I believe Spence is 3 years younger. And when I'm around them, Spence still has more of that youthful vitality to him. That's the best way I could put it. Crawford, when I see him now, is getting a little closer to middle age. And Spence is still a young, vibrant young man when I see him. He's 32, but still could pass for 28. Crawford's in his 30s now, and yeah. Neil says, Sean, it's Demi, call me. The Ashton Kutcher Demi Moore reference. No, I'm with Mila Kunis now. I had you, Demi Moore. We're talking about Terrence Crawford was in his 1998 Michael Jordan 2010 Kobe Bryant prime. I had you in your 2010 Kobe Bryant 1998 Michael Jordan prime. I had you at the end when you were still in your prime. At the end, but still in your prime. Why would I go back to that now, Neil? It's like let's see here. Spence's defense is great, and he throws so many punches. Says AJ, it's not flashy defense, but you're right. It is a little underrated. And he gets touched in every fight because usually he's on the front foot looking to hurt somebody. So, but no, he is great high guard, and he will step off and do his shoulder roll a little bit. Not often, he'll do it sparingly, but he will step off and give you an angle and use that length to pull back a little bit, make you miss. And but for the most part, what I like about Spence is that the fundamentals, that sound high guard, that busy, heavy-handed right jab, and the consistent body work. That's the stuff I've always liked about Spence. What I like about Spence is if my little boy Leo, if I were to show, once he gets 6 and 7, if I wanted him to study a fighter, I wouldn't have him study Crawford or Floyd or Roy or Ali. I'd have him watch someone more like Errol Spence, because Spence is usually the high guard, jab, 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 dig the body, fundamentally sound, stuff that guys like me and you could actually learn from. But guys like me and you can't learn from Floyd that much or Roy, because you have to be, unless you watching out there was born with a certain level of athleticism, but and Spence is an athlete too, but he doesn't rely on it a whole lot in his style. He's got a more blue collar, down home style. Crawford's more dynamic. So let's see. Floyd is in the dressing room now, doing his little, doing a little in the dressing room interview. Wearing yellow. Please tell. Why did Floyd take the trunks off? What in the world happened? Let me turn this off let me turn this up for a second to hear what Floyd, because Floyd took the trunks off for some reason. Hold on. Okay, well, I mean, Floyd's not gloved up and whatnot, but the arena's a little more full now. Sonny Edwards talking with Johnny Nelson. I'd like to see Sonny Edwards fight Bam Rodriguez. But I guess Bam would have to go overseas because Sonny can't come to the States with that everlasting MTK association thingy. Journey from Fat to Fit said that Spence's jab will give Crawford fits all night. It would, and it would be, that is a problem for Terrence Crawford to get around that long, consistent thudding jab of Spence. It would be. And I almost wonder if we would have seen Crawford fight orthodox more, because usually Crawford, he fights orthodox for a round or two and then he switches southpaw and then it's a wrap. He fights southpaw the rest of the fight and he gets that angle fighting usually up against an orthodox guy. He turns southpaw, he gets the angle in the southpaw stance and he just starts punishing them. Against Spence, who's also a southpaw, I wonder if Crawford would try to do some of the things he does as a southpaw against orthodox fighters as an orthodox fighter against a southpaw. That'd be the true test of his switch hitting capabilities. Let's see. Yeah, they're still doing dressing room interviews. All right, tail of the tape. Mario Chalmers. Oh, never mind. It's Aaron Chalmers. Aaron Chalmers at 6 wins, 2 losses, 1 knockout. Floyd Mayweather with 50 wins, no losses, and 27 knockouts. Floyd's at 155 tonight. Chalmers is at 161, and we are set for main event time. Let's go. I know it's Aaron Chalmers. I know, but I just like calling him Mario Chalmers, man. That's the only Chalmers that matters. I'm sorry. I can't even say that about Aaron Chalmers technically because he has fought professionally 8 times, so I got to give him respect as a professional fighter. You got to respect him also at 6-2. Aaron Chalmers. Can anyone in the chat fill me in on why this man is fighting Floyd Mayweather? What makes him prestigious enough to do this? Has he done something on social media or something? You guys can tell how seriously I took my preparation for researching the opponent today. Redeeming the time said, Sean, you got Chalmers by stoppage? I do not. But I will say this: if we're grasping for straws here for a narrative for this fight, I guess the only suspense is, does Floyd get hit? Because he got hit against Deji. Somehow Deji gave Floyd a shiner. Can this man Aaron Chalmers give Floyd another shiner? Is that what a 46-year-old Floyd does now? Does he walk away with shiners these days? Well, let's see. Richie Demizo said, I'm outside your house, bro. Richie, let me check outside. Okay, I don't see you, thank God. That'd have been creepy. I know, isn't swatting a thing now? I shouldn't give anybody any fucking ideas. Madara Uchila said, was there a fight or not? There is a fight about to go down right now. My man Ramblin' Ralph Velez announcing Floyd Mayweather. But first, Aaron Chalmers coming to the ring. AJ said, I threw you off with Mario Chalmers. No, my bad, man. I was just being a wise ass. It's the guy, Aaron Chalmers. I couldn't help myself. Russia in the house. Man, we got a lot of Russia in the house. When is Floyd Mayweather fighting, says Lynette Bosman. Lynette, we're about to get started now. Aaron Chalmers coming, his opponent making his way to the ring right now. Number 1 Packer Gamer says salute. Shout out to you. Sean Morrison said, Sean, these are not fights. Excuse me, the exhibition, Sean. Are you showing it or talking to us? I'll have to say talking to you, Aunt Kennedy. We don't have rights to the fight, so this is a live round by round. The Serrano Concept. Good to see you, the Serrano Concept. Good to see you in the chat again. And Serrano Concept wants to know, am I going to do Tommy versus Jake? Absolutely. I'll be doing Tommy and Jake tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow and Sunday. And I'll be back tonight with Jeremias Ponce against Subriel Matias for the vacant IBF super lightweight title tonight on Showtime. So happier Javier says thank you, brother, for the $2. Says Oscar bets a mil the Ryan Tank fights ends in a KO. That's that's all Oscar did, Javier. He just bet that it would end in a knockout. Well, that's hedging his bets. He's supposed to bet on his kid. Then that's news. God damn, Aaron Chalmers got a tattoo on him. Jesus Christ, his whole left shoulder is covered. My God. Anyways, the very tatted Aaron Chalmers is in the ring. So Oscar is smart because that fight is going to end in a knockout. That's for sure. 75-25 Tank, maybe 70-30 Tank. 70-30 Tank sounds about right for me. But yeah, it's going to end in a knockout because they're both punchers. And yeah, I think, you never know. It could go 12, but I think that fight definitely ends in a knockout. I think that's the consensus. You heard Mike Tyson earlier say that fight's not going the distance. So stylistically, there's not going to be a whole lot of combinations and exchanges in that fight. Not a whole lot of 4 and 5 punch combos. It's going to be more so both guys trying to place bombs, 1 or 2 bombs at a time. B says, Sean, who do I think would have won? Usyk versus James Toney. Oof. Great question. Great question. I hate to say this. I hate to say the James Toney that fought Vasily Girov against Usyk at cruiserweight. Man, I'm just being objective. I might have to give Usyk an edge because Usyk is better than Vasily Girov, and Toney needed that 12th round knockdown to pull that fight out and win it on the cards. If he didn't get that 12th round knockdown, he wasn't going to win that fight. So, I like James Toney better than Usyk. I think he's a greater fighter. He started at 160, so, but I would, my heart wants to say James Toney, but my head is saying Usyk because Vasily Girov came this close to beating Toney, and Usyk's a better fighter than Girov. Right now, they're just showing Floyd Mayweather some sparring clips in the Mayweather gym, and we're getting ready for Floyd Mayweather's ring walk. I'm getting a lot of show the fight. I'm sorry, brother. We do not have the rights to the fight. We are calling a live round by round. We'll be calling every punch, all the action, as soon as Floyd Mayweather and Aaron Chalmers are finished with the referee's instructions and round 1 begins. But right now, Floyd Mayweather is set to make his ring walk. Someone asked, have the baddies fought? They did fight, and I'll update you. The baddies did fight, and Natalie Nunn won. So there you go. The Bronco Kid said, Sean Zattel versus Max Kellerman. Who wins the debate? I want to say me, because I'm really growing into my own now. And I'm hungry. Max has already done that. I want to accomplish, at least a quarter or half the things Max has. So I'm hungry, and so I should be able to get the veteran with my youth and enthusiasm. But Max is Max. He might wind up schooling me in the end, anyways. But I would love to do something with Max Kellerman. Mick says, your commentary? Yes, I am commentary. Who is this in the ring? Fresh, Playboy Fresh is rapping for Floyd Mayweather as Floyd Mayweather is making his way to the ring. Some shirtless guy with his gut out and tattoos and an earring. One big earring on his left ear. I'm just describing what the man looks like. Let me see. Raphael 32 said Vass was nice, light heavyweight champ too. Girov, yeah, he was, and I forgot he was light heavyweight champ. I know he was 33-0 when Toney beat him. Slim said Sean would beat Jake in boxing. Nah, Jake's been training too much and doing too many sparring and too much explosive, athletic hard work and training, and you can't just get up in there and do that. I would need to train like crazy and all that. Yeah, but Jake would sleep me right now probably. Floyd Mayweather getting set to come to the ring now. Got his whole team with him. Otis Pimpleton behind him. Let me flash back and we'll see his cousin DeJuan Blake, Big Frank, P. Rilla, and the money team. They all got these matching Lettermans on that I wouldn't be mad if I had one. Let's just say I would definitely wear it. The Floyd Mayweather TMT Lettermans that they're rocking to this fight. Mayweather set to make his ring entrance now. Titan Hugo says, is it true that the arena is almost empty? It's about half empty, and it was completely empty an hour or so ago, and now it's about halfway full for this exhibition between Floyd Mayweather and Aaron Chalmers. I don't know the rapper. Oh, I think, is this the dude who raps money, 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 money team? Money, 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 money team. Money, 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 money team. Super lyrical. Is Kenny Bayless reffing it? Says Knee Ram. I'll have to check once we get to the ref. Samantha Sanchez, my wife, says, let's go, Sean. Shout out to you too, Samantha. I want to thank you for your support. Sean's favorite song, says Samantha, money, 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 money team. Money, money, I ain't playing for no other team. Money, 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 money team. Money, 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 money. I ain't playing for no other team. Money, 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 money team. Yep. It's a catchy song. That's not a lie. That shit is catchy. When the Mayweather-McGregor press tour happened, I was bobbing my head. Floyd making his way to the ring. Still got his man rapping, whole team around him. And he gets close to the ring. Here we go. Basel Ahmad said super lyrical. Super lyrical like Black Thought and Big Pun. Super lyrical like Black Thought and Big Pun. Who knows that reference, huh? From the Big Pun album, track 3, super lyrical. B said, Sean, can you do one of your impersonations? That's Floyd. I don't even want to do Floyd's voice anymore. My impersonations wear off after a while, you know, like I get over it, but Aaron Chalmers, one thing about him, he's tough. He's a competitor. He's gonna compete. It's easy for Sean to tell, sitting writing at a computer, to say, oh well, this guy, he's 6-2. He only got 1 knockout. But it's a difference under those bright lights. I'm a smart fighter. I make more money in exhibitions than these fighters do, risking their health, risking their brain damage. So, at the end of the day, whether it's Aaron Chalmers, there you go. There you go. That's the best I got right now. Lynette Bosman's capital punishment. There you go. The man saying capital punishment. Rob the Barbarian saying, what you know about capital punishment? Indeed. That intro to Boomerang on capital punishment. Oh. So here we go. Sean, who's your favorite Spice Girl? My wife answered Posh. I don't know. You know, I never got to the nitty and gritty of the all 5 of them. I knew one of them. They had the black girl. And, you know, I don't know. I didn't have a favorite, but I'd be lying if I didn't think, you know, Wannabe and Spice Up Your Life back in 97 when I'd be in the little safe key after first grade and all the girls would be doing their dance routines. It was, you know, it was a little catchy. I'm not going to lie. But here we are, Aaron Chalmers and Floyd Mayweather in the ring. National anthems taking place now. Floyd's going to be wearing the Union Jack on his trunks. Aaron Chalmers, you know, maybe a shout out to the Kronk Gym, wearing some yellow trunks with red trim. Got blue trim on it too. Pretty sure he's not referencing the Kronk, but you know, I had to try. Unsubscribed says, this show is embarrassing for everyone involved. Makes a mockery of the fans and the sport. Unsubscribed, I just wanted to read your comment at least, you know, because that you know that is a sentiment that I will say at least deserves to get repeated from the chat. Who won the Baddies fight? Asked Nicholas Alcock. Great name. Natalie Nunn won that fight by 2nd round TKO. And we are just waiting for these just waiting for ring introductions to wrap up, and then we can start the round by round. 187 was the song on that album. Yeah, Eric Pena on Capital Punishment. You Came Up was great, super lyrical. Of course, Still Not a Player, Not a Player. Beware, You Ain't a Killer. Boomerang. Those are all my favorite tracks on there. What time does the fight come on the Zeus Network? Says Ski Yellow. It's on right now. Ring introductions are happening, and then it's time to go. Tip Bayless said you forgot to say hell of a fighter. I know. He's a hell of a fighter. Strong competitor. Can't do it right. For me, when I'm asked to do Floyd now, all I really like to do anymore is just this. Just the palms and the raised eyebrow. Like, that's all I got anymore. Wasted talent. Is Undisputed better than Fight Night? I like it. I'm having a lot. I own Fight Night Champion and Undisputed, and right now I'm not playing Fight Night Champion. Caleb said Sean has the best Eddie Hearn impersonation. Again, they fluctuate. They start to go away as time goes on. You know, these impersonations I have an expiration date. But value for money. I gotta feel it. Floyd Mayweather, the big underdog, says Hazma Ash. No, sir. Who's the most naturally skilled fighter, in your opinion, says Amber Ram. Well, that's an interesting way of putting it, because naturally skilled... skill is more something that comes through, you know, the reps and the hard work. Talent is what's naturally given to you. But, I mean, naturally skilled, Stevenson and Haney right now, at least here in America. Stevenson and Haney, they have instincts. They're natural-born fighters, natural-born boxers. You know, they're in terms of the hit and not get hit. You know, that comes instinctually to Haney and Stevenson since they were kids. You know, so I would say them right now. And Canelo Alvarez had that as well too. They were born to be boxers. What kind of used car salesman promotion is putting this fight on? It is from the Zeus Network. Let's see. Here we go. Real Talk Chicago says, do I think Mayweather wins this fight? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. All right, Aaron Chalmers getting introduced. He is technically the hometown guy. Crazy tattoo that covers his entire neck, and it's one solid blot of ink. This dude is yadded. Who's winning? Lynette Bosman, who's winning for you between KSI and Jake Paul? I would go Jake Paul right now. J21 said, why the empty arena, man? Well, J21, if you recall halftime of Super Bowl 99 when The Rock and Mankind had their empty arena match, you know, Floyd, who was on WWE, he's a big fan. And you know, Floyd might have wanted to do his own empty arena match, but then about 2,000 or 3,000 people showed up last minute and kind of spoiled that. So they went with Plan B, 3,000 people live, and here we go. Floyd smiling, lighthearted, interacting with the ring announcer, his buddy Ralph Velez. Shout out to my man Silent Bob Ware in the corner, the best hand wraps in the business. And here we go, getting ready for round one to start any moment now. Dottie Day says, the man that Floyd's fighting looks like a created character. Natasha Welsh, good to see you in the chat. I hope Mayweather wins. Aaron is a bit of a joke in the minute. Natasha, can you explain to me exactly who this Aaron Chalmers fellow is? What's he known for outside of boxing? Because clearly that's why he got the fight. Isn't his boxing record? But he is a professional at 6 wins, 2 losses. Robert Byrd is the referee. Someone asked earlier if this would be Kenny Bayless tonight. It's Robert Byrd. All right, here we go. We got an Aaron Chalmers fan. MCratX says, come on, Aaron. Here we go. Fight set to start now for round one. For the best fighter of his generation, post-retirement on his exhibition tour overseas. And here we go, round 1 of 6, 2-minute rounds. Chalmers trying to measure, and Floyd very loosey-goose, very relaxed in the ring, and ready to clown and maybe have a little bit of fun in between his punches here tonight. Chalmers backing off a little bit. He is the taller man than Floyd Mayweather. Floyd picks those gloves up in the high guard. Chalmers, lead left hook snaps across the top of Chalmers' head. Another lead left hook lands for Floyd Mayweather here in the first 30 seconds. Now a jab splits the guard for Floyd Mayweather against Aaron Chalmers. Floyd just off with that pull counter right hand, shoots a jab to the body. Floyd trying to come and lead with the hook again, but feints it instead. Parries the jab of Chalmers, sticks his own jab in. Good jab by Floyd Mayweather there. Floyd smiling at Aaron Chalmers. Chalmers smiled after getting touched up with a couple of left hooks just a few moments ago. Halfway through that first round, Chalmers missing with the jab. Gets parried by Mayweather's right hand. Chalmers trying to move his upper body movement and trying to find some kind of opening. Floyd jabs to the body and smiles at him. Now straight right hand by Floyd Mayweather off that jab to the body. Floyd picks his gloves back up, catches the jab 2 or 3 times by Chalmers, patting it down, parrying it with his right glove. Chalmers drops his left hand now and tries to feint and tries to set some kind of look up, and Floyd just amused by it. Floyd picks his gloves up, still amused by the feints of Chalmers, and they reset in the center of the ring. Floyd with a double jab, lands both of them. Can land at will and can block anything coming back. Oh, a right uppercut lands for Floyd Mayweather in the center of the ring, and Chalmers is smiling, but that was a quick shot by Floyd Mayweather. Nice right uppercut. Floyd finishing up the round with a jab there. And that will do it for round 1. Nice right uppercut by Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather not as cut up as he was, in his professional, boxing days, but still in really good shape, obviously at 46 years old. Six-pack, not as ripped as it would be for a sanctioned official fight, but that was an easy round 1 for Floyd Mayweather. Touched up Chalmers in the first minute with a couple of lead left hooks, and in that last 20 seconds, a really nice right uppercut. He didn't even shoot it, didn't even measure with a jab with it or nothing. He just shot the right uppercut at range in the center of the ring and landed it right on the chin of Aaron Chalmers. They're showing it here on the replay. Good stuff by Floyd Mayweather. 2-minute rounds, Justin Kudo. Not 1-minute rounds, 2-minute rounds. So yes, 1-zip Floyd. Sean Morrison saying Floyd didn't train. All right, round 2, they touch gloves. Floyd with his hands picked up. Chalmers with his hands picked up too. Floyd not fighting it with any shoulder roll thus far. Floyd with his hands still picked up in the center of the ring. Both guys feinting each other. Floyd lands the jab. Floyd's landed basically every punch he's thrown. Now he leads with a hook and makes Chalmers pick his hands up, and he throws the second left hook right to the body and lands it on Aaron Chalmers. Now Chalmers trying to back Floyd up a little bit. Floyd near the ropes. Keeps his hands up. Floyd on the ropes, keeps his hands up. 2 jabs to get himself off the ropes for Floyd. Back in the center of the ring, and a left hook lands for Floyd in the center of the ring. Now Floyd drops his hands a little bit, drops that lead left hand down, and he backs away from Chalmers, making little faces at Chalmers, pucking his lips here and there. Shimmying, left hand at his waist now, Floyd, very relaxed. Leads with a left hook, straight right hand lands, and Chalmers goes into the ropes. Chalmers taking Floyd's punches fine and shakes his head. Less than a minute left in the round now. Lead left hook by Floyd gets blocked, but then he dips the left hook to the body and lands it again. He's done that twice this round. Chalmers missing with a straight right hand, trying to counter Floyd's jab that time. And I see Mick Conlon in Chalmers' corner here. Jab lands for Floyd in the center of the ring, splits that guard. Chalmers is yet to touch Floyd with anything yet, unlike Deji. Chalmers eats a jab, tries to fire a 1-2 over the top of that jab, but misses it. Now straight right hand for Floyd. He pivots back into the center of the ring. Center of the ring for both guys. Floyd has that left hand low, shoots it up from the hip, lands that jab. Chalmers tries to come back with 2 shots and misses off the shoulder roll. Jab lands for Floyd again. Floyd fighting more in the shoulder roll now to finish round 2. Straight right hand lands for Floyd after he missed with the lead left hook, and that makes a little bit of blood now from the nose of Chalmers. Last 5 seconds here, and that'll do it. 2-zip Floyd if you're scoring it. No surprise. Real Talk Chicago said Aaron Chalmers winning by any chance? No, it is 2 rounds to nothing, and he hasn't touched Floyd with anything, and he's getting touched up and pieced up. But taking Floyd's power just fine as we're getting ready for round number 3. Sweet, we got over 1,000 people in the chat. Thank you everyone for joining us for the live round by round. Yeah, Floyd winning easily so far. Is Mayweather wearing Union Jack's shorts, says M. Pierre? Yep, he's wearing the Union Jack shorts. Couple of lead left hook. So Floyd actually, that time Chalmers, cognizant of the lead left hooks, blocked him a couple times, but Floyd would then throw a second left hook to the body, and that would land. And then a third time he missed the lead left hook. He nailed him with a straight right hand after it. So here we are in round 3 now. Floyd, high guard to start in round 3. He'll probably drop that left hand at some point again. Nice jab for Floyd in the center of the ring. Lands off the top of the head of Chalmers. Chalmers game. Staying in front of Floyd, shoots his own jab, falls short, hasn't touched Floyd yet. Shoots off a 1-2 after Floyd lets his jab go. Chalmers missing, but still letting that 1-2 go. Chalmers jabbing to Floyd's body. Floyd along the ropes now. Chalmers got to let his hands go. Chalmers measuring, but eats a jab, and Floyd finds himself off the ropes. Floyd making him gun-shy there, making him timid. Floyd short with the jab, picks his hands up. Now he drops that left to his waist. Now he picks it back up. Drops it to his waist and shoots a jab to the body. Changing levels with that lead hand. Floyd picks his hands up again in the center of the ring. Lands that jab out of the high guard. Drops the lead left hand. Picks it back up. He's alternating between those two. Floyd just off with a right hand off the jab, but he throws a 1-2 again, and that time it lands. Chalmers pulling away from it. Left hook lands for Floyd Mayweather. Chalmers smiling and jawing a little bit, but he ate the left hook that time. Jab lands for Floyd and still shows the reflexes to pull straight back and get away from it at 46. Get away from the long 1-2 of Chalmers after touching him up with the jab. Floyd missing with the lead left hook this time. Chalmers stepping in with a jab, falls short. Floyd starting to clown, drops both hands at his waist now and fights out of a crouch. Floyd banging his gloves together, shoots the jab out of the crouch. Floyd with his hands low, now picks him back up. Floyd, nice jab and steps off to his left. Pops up the head of Chalmers and continues to just smile and have a good time. Nice jab again from Floyd, and he evades the right hand. Chalmers missing with the right hand again after eating a jab. And then Floyd turns his shoulders around along the ropes and lands a right hand. Chalmers is talking trash to Floyd, and that is it for round 3. 3-0 Floyd Mayweather. Having fun and toying with Aaron Chalmers. Still showing some reflexes at 46 against a fighter of this level, you know. Mark Wenlock says, are you covering the Jake Paul fight? I will be calling the Jake Paul fight live with a round-by-round tomorrow, so definitely tune in, please. Can you shadowbox a copy of Mayweather next round just for big laughs? Says Carlito Bignati. So that's a funny request. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll do one or two things that I see. I'll act out one or two things Floyd does. Smash the like button, says DH. Appreciate that, man. Great commentary, says Rico Kalam. Appreciate that, man. Floyd playing, says Sean Morrison. Here we go to start round 5. Floyd in the center. What Floyd will do here is start off in that high guard and then drop the lead hand. And then sometimes he'll drop both hands and fight out of a crouch and look up at him like that. And then boom, shoot up the up jab, shoot it to the body. All the Floyd Mayweather tricks. Chalmers, though, is launching his straight right hand and Floyd evading it, pulling back, still having the reflexes to pull straight back from it. Floyd gives half of his body. He doesn't square up when he pulls back like I just did. But, Floyd giving half his body, pulling back from those long right hands of Chalmers. And those are legit right hands by Chalmers. He's throwing that like it's a real fight. Floyd along the ropes, covering along the ropes. Now he's in that famous shoulder roll along the ropes, lands a jab, and actually clinches Chalmers to get himself off the ropes there. Textbook stuff. Mayweather leading with the hook, shooting it from the hip. Now shooting the jab from the hip and lands it. Straight right hand, and he fighting with his hands down at his waist. Now he picks him back up again. Makes Chalmers fall short, parrying the jab, and uses his legs to move back out of range. Moves right back in range and lands 2 jabs. Chalmers shooting the 1-2 and hitting nothing but shoulder there. Jab to the pit of Chalmers' stomach. Center ring. Floyd picks the gloves up. Picks him up, smiling, drops him back down, takes a step back and makes Chalmers fall short twice. Now Floyd resets in the center of the ring, touches with his jab twice, feints, does 2 little funny feints, waving his hands out at the side. He likes to do that. Now he lands a straight right hand as Chalmers couldn't defend it that time. Straight right hand right down the pipe from Floyd Mayweather. Left hook to the body by Floyd Mayweather there. Dug down that time. Didn't do a double left hook to set it up. Just shot the left hook down to the body. Chalmers with Floyd along the ropes with 10 seconds left in the 4th. Floyd in the shoulder roll. Makes him miss 4 punches. Does a shoulder shimmy. Lands a touch jab and sweeps the right hand. Then he throws a straight right hand and finishes the round with his hands at his waist and gives a cocky little stare. And that's it for round 4. Bola Ranson said, where are you watching it from? I'm watching it from here in Las Vegas on the Zeus app. How the fight with Badu Jack, says Jerry Whiteboy Rosenberg. Jerry, the Badu Jack fight is tomorrow afternoon on that co-main event of Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Benjamin Brader said your commentary is good as well, bro. Thank you, Benjamin. I appreciate it, man. The Simple Christian said, where can I buy the boxing posters? Love your room. A lot of them are still on eBay. Just, Google whichever fight it is you want the poster of, and you can still probably buy most of them. I've lost a lot of posters over the years. So Floyd, standing in the corner in between rounds, jogging around the ring, and here we go, round 5. Right uppercut by Floyd Mayweather as he kind of closed the distance to start round 5. Nice, hard, stiff jab landing for Floyd. Another stiff jab for Floyd. Every time Floyd landing that jab, it pops the hair and the chin up of Chalmers. But Chalmers has been a tough guy. He hasn't really been fazed by any of Floyd's shots just yet. And Floyd's pelted him with a couple of nice shots. Chalmers in that high guard, trying to stay on top of Mayweather, but just can't touch him. Keeps shooting 1-2s off at Floyd, and Floyd pulling away, making him hit nothing but shoulders or air when he does that. Floyd in that high guard, lands a jab, lands another jab. Chalmers comes back with 2 jabs, and Floyd dips his body weight down and gets away from it twice. Straight right hand by Floyd, coming back up off that angle. Chalmers trying to lead with a hook, misses. Floyd comes back with a lead hook, lands in the center of the ring. Floyd, with that jab up from his hip, lands and knocks back the head of Chalmers in the center of the ring. Now Chalmers gets Floyd near the ropes. Floyd crouching down, shoots a jab, lands it right on the chin. Floyd hands down at his waist, picks him back up, back still near the ropes. Chalmers smiling at him. Floyd inviting him in, but Chalmers won't do it, and now Floyd's back in the center of the ring, working that lead hand. Floyd putting his body weight down in the clinch on him and hits him with an uppercut, and then when Chalmers picked his head back up, hits him with a straight right hand. Now Floyd landing a jab, steps off to his right. Chalmers finally maybe grazed him with that left hand finally a little bit. 20 seconds left in the 5th. Floyd looks out at the ring and talks to Chalmers' coaches, turns his head at him, and now he looks at Chalmers' coaches and lands the jab and talks to them. Straight right hand, and he talks to Chalmers' coaches some more. 10 seconds left in the round. He makes Chalmers hit nothing but air and falls short with a straight right hand, and he turns back and looks at the coaches again. Now Floyd throws that right uppercut, straight right hand, misses both, but he does a 360 little dance move turn, and that's it for round 5. We're going into the last round. Watching Now says excellent commentary. Appreciate that, Watching Now. Zan J, good to see Zan J back in the chat. Says Floyd would still whoop Canelo today. I don't know about all that, but Zan J, good to see you though, brother, in the chat. So Floyd is dancing in the corner, keeps dancing and dancing and dancing, and I would be dancing too if I could hit a guy at will, make him miss all his punches, and make millions of dollars. I can't lie, I would be dancing too. So, waiting here for round 6. Here we go. Ram says normally doesn't listen to these, but this is pretty good. Thank you, Ram. Happy you feel that way. Happy to have you in the chat. All right, Floyd again touching him up with that jab to start round 6. I mean, he is just knocking the head straight up of Chalmers when he lands it. Does it again, lands the jab, and then Chalmers, savvy enough to try to time Floyd. But it's just, Floyd's like a cat. He's just not there with those reflexes. Even with good timing, he'll get out of the way of the shot at the last second. And Floyd keeps talking, and he switches southpaw, he switches orthodox, and he's more concerned with his conversation with Chalmers' trainer outside the ring right now than pelting Chalmers in this last round. Oh, Floyd said, I got something for you. And he's winding up the right hand, and then he says, no. And he says, no, I'm just kidding. And then he hits him with a jab. I believed you, Floyd. I thought you were going to let go of the right hand. I want to see it. 2 more touch jabs by Floyd. Floyd poses in front of Chalmers in the shoulder roll stance, inviting a punch to be thrown. Chalmers knows better, knows it's not going to actually land. Now he lets go of some shots with Floyd along the ropes, but can't hit him. That shoulder roll, impossible for Chalmers to find an opening against there. 50 seconds left in the round. Lead right hand, falls short for Floyd. He almost got countered by a right hand there, but Chalmers not able to get it in. Floyd sticking his tongue out. 45 seconds left. Lead right hand. Floyd taking something off these punches in the 6th round. not that he was fully committing earlier, but he was putting some pop in the shots. In this round, he hasn't. This has been Floyd's least active round. 30 seconds left in this exhibition. Nice jabs by Floyd again, landing another 2 jabs. Ooh, right hand lands for Floyd after touching with that jab. It was a kind of looping right hand. Floyd doesn't really throw a looping right hand. His are always straight and sharp, but 10 seconds left. They trade jabs. Floyd getting the better of it. Chalmers missing again with a straight right hand and gets countered with the straight right hand. And Floyd with a jab to the body and a straight right hand literally at the bell. Splits the guard, and that's it for all 6 rounds. Floyd Mayweather, if you were scoring, well, they're sitting in their corners now like they got another round to go or something. But that was it, wasn't it? That was 6 rounds to my count, right? That it? What's going on here? The 2 fighters are going back to their corners like they're going to fight some more, but that was 6 rounds, and this is a scheduled 6-rounder. So, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Pause for the update, folks. Floyd, both fighters are coming out like they got another round, but that was 6 rounds? And so we're going to the 7th of a scheduled 6. We're going to the 7th of a scheduled 6? We are. Oh no, it's an 8-rounder. Man, I'm telling you, the graphic said 6 all along, people. It said 6 at first, people. The Zeus, it's 8 rounds. Sorry, chat. It's 8 rounds. My bad. All right, Floyd back in the center of the ring, doing a lot of taunting and having fun, fighting more in the shoulder roll now. Earlier in the fight, he started with his hands picked up. Chalmers keeps, missing and falling short with those 1-2s. Floyd pulling away, sometimes dipping his body weight down and showing only half of his body. Other times just pulling straight back, but still has the reflexes to make Chalmers miss every time. Chalmers letting go of a left hook right hand with Floyd along the ropes. Floyd not as active to start the 7th and in the 6th either. Right uppercut lands for Floyd in the center of the ring. He makes Chalmers miss with a right hand in return. Again, Chalmers keeps letting that right hand go. And again, as a professional with 8 fights, Chalmers is competent compared to the Dejis that Floyd has fought recently. And Floyd may be taking him a little bit more serious, and that's why he's not getting the black eye tonight like he did with Deji. He knows this guy did fight professionally. And Floyd landed a straight right hand and now landed the jab twice, one up top, one to the body, now a right hand up top. Touches him up with the jab again in the center of the ring, shooting that up from the hip, and now a straight right hand countering the jab of Aaron Chalmers. So fast on pulling that right hand like a trigger is Floyd Mayweather still. 30 seconds left. Jab to the body by Floyd. He gets his head underneath the sweeping right hand coming back. 25 seconds left in the 7th. Floyd back in the high guard. Touches with a jab. Touches with a jab again. Catches Chalmers' jab again, parries it, bats it down with that right hand, and then sticks the jab right into his chin. Floyd still with such, athletic coordination and all these different stances. Sometimes he'll let the left hand be at his waist and keep the right hand up. Sometimes he'll put both hands down. Sometimes he'll put both hands up. And what made him great in his prime is that he could punch out of all these stances. Some guys, they only can make you miss in certain positions, certain stances that they have, and can only punch out of certain stances that they can have. But Floyd can make you miss out of the high guard and be accurate out of the high guard. He can make you obviously miss with the shoulder roll and then counter out of the shoulder roll. And that's part of what made Floyd so good in his primes, is all these different stances he would have, and he could punch and defend out of all of them. So, last round coming up now. El Showcake said sad making all that money and still fighting exhibitions. How can I watch online? Well, it's the last round now, but it was on the Zeus Network. Andy Mills says, has Chalmers even touched Floyd yet? No, and I mean not even like with the jab, nothing. He hasn't. He maybe grazed him with a left at one point, but no, he hasn't landed a solid shot on Floyd, unlike Deji, who did, right? So score that for Deji. Round 8, 15 seconds into it, Floyd's back along the ropes in the high guard, lands the jab. Stop me if you've heard that before. Jab lands again for Floyd Mayweather. His reflexes and coordination and hand speed are still really impressive at 46 years old. Straight right hand lands, and he's beautiful upper body movement and reflexes and defense from Floyd Mayweather in the center of the ring, moving and contorting and twisting his shoulders all around the place and making Chalmers miss and never getting off balance while doing all these defensive maneuvers for Floyd. Great balance and dexterity and coordination still at 46 years old. I got to give it to him. Even as he's toying with a guy in an exhibition, I still could see the skill that made him, the guy that he is. Straight right hand lands for Floyd, and then he steps off, shuffles his feet, and looks to the side. 55 seconds left. Floyd picking his hands up, parries the jab to the body by Chalmers, makes Chalmers miss short with a left hook, and then taunts him by swiping his hands as if to say, well, who were you trying to swipe with that hook? Floyd keeping his hands up, waves Chalmers in, says, come in, come on. Touches him with the jab. Chalmers shakes his head no. Little over 30 seconds left. Floyd touches him with the jab again. Floyd along the ropes, measuring with that lead hand, picks his hands up, lands a jab. Shoulder roll makes Chalmers miss everything, and then he pelts him with the straight right hand and escapes out of the corner. Vintage Floyd stuff right there. Floyd dancing, grooving, clowning, pivoting his feet all over the place. 10 seconds left, lands the jab again. Makes Chalmers fall short, and he pitches a shutout. Had to land at least 50% of his punches and made Chalmers literally miss everything. Straight right hand lands, and Chalmers misses nothing but air with his combination, and that's it. That's it for that 8-rounder. 8-0 Floyd. It's an exhibition, so there's no scoring. But 8 rounds to nothing Floyd. A fun exhibition, a fun sparring session where he got to still show off the reflexes and skills and incredible balance and coordination for him to be doing all the pivoting and bending his body weight down so low to get away from some of those shots on the shoulder roll and all kinds of different maneuvers that you have to have tremendous balance to do. And at 46 years old, even though he's fighting a hugely overmatched guy in an exhibition, it's still impressive. And that was very exhibition-like from Floyd Mayweather, where he's showing off some of the skills. He's putting just enough pop in the punches to where it's knocking the other guy's head up to give it, a little bit of legitimacy. But yeah, not resembling a real fight, obviously. Mike Oxlong said trash fight. Rico Kalam said new subscriber. So got the negative and the positive back to back there. Pointless bout, isn't it? Floyd looking good with someone who's no match is not impressive, says Gixer. Justin Marlowe, what's up, brother? So I think calling me to go with that emoji. Thank you, brother. I hope that's what it was. Let me see here. But yeah, fun 8-round exhibition. Who did better, Logan Paul or Chalmers? Asked Liam. Logan Paul by far Logan Paul by far did better than Chalmers by far. Chalmers, along with who was that? Don Moore. That they put on. The lead. Floyd maybe was a little sharper against them because they've actually boxed both of them. Don Moore, who he fought last year in Saudi Arabia, I think it was, and then Chalmers here. These were guys who were pros. I mean, what you'd call club level fighters, but since they were pros, maybe Floyd a little sharper on his defense than he was for guys like Deji. And then Logan Paul's just so physically big, and he's an athletic guy that he was able to take advantage of that against the old Floyd Mayweather. But is there a lot of people in attendance? Says Perry. Is he a blue chip prospect? Something like that remains to be seen. He is not coming out of nowhere, but he's not one of these guys pegged by USA Boxing Program. But he made waves with the Rolly clip, made some waves sparring with Floyd, and what I saw from him in his 3-round fight, he worked the body good, and Jahan Ingram looked like a prospect to keep an eye on today. So he looked good. So yeah. Alright guys, but I gotta save my voice a little bit because we got the Subriel Matias Jeremias Ponce fight tonight for the IBF Super Lightweight title. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Mythical Mining says, I met Sean at the Deji Mayweather press in Vegas. That's what's up, brother. It was good to meet you. Happy to have you in the chat. Jeremiah asked, good question maybe to close on. Can Floyd come back right now and beat any of the top welterweights if he is to come back? Jeremiah, I don't think he would beat a Spencer or Crawford or a Virgil or a Boots right now, because at 46, his body physically can't take punches the way it once was. And even though he's a guy who never got hit a lot, you still have to have a strong body to absorb the grazing blows, the partial blows that were landing on him. Floyd, being strong and having a good chin, it hid that sometimes some of them shots were touching them a little bit. Not all of them were missing. And I think guys like Spence punching him on the arms and Virgil Ortiz punching him on the arms, I don't think his body and his muscles and his bones at 46 is going to hold up that well. I think he's still more skilled than these guys. Somehow at 46, he's faster than these. Him, Crawford, and Boots would be an argument who's faster right now, but he's still faster than Errol Spence, faster than Virgil Ortiz. So, he still has the speed and the skills to beat these guys, but I don't think physically his body can hold up. And you hear him talking about that, like taking punishment. And so I don't think he would beat the top welterweights right now. I think he's still more skilled than them. Right at 46, still more skilled than them, but his body wouldn't be able to hold up to them shots hitting him on the arms and the chest and all. Like, I don't think he'd hold up as well now. So that's just me. But I hope everybody enjoyed it. I did enjoy watching Floyd, all that crazy balance and dexterity and athleticism at 46 to still pull off all the different maneuvers and moves he does. And only one Floyd Mayweather. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was, a little bit of a leisurely round by round. We getting back to the more serious stuff tonight. Ponce and Matias. And then tomorrow we got Tommy Fury and Jake Paul and a serious, world title fight in the co-main event. Badu Jack against Lunga Makabu. So, if you guys got time, hit me up tonight and join me for the Ponce Matias fight. And it's been fun rocking with you guys. It always is. See you later tonight.